GF shares bed with her guy friend and doesn't find it weird. This is more of a venting post because this issue will more than likely be the end of our relationship. I don't want to give her an ultimatum, but at the same time I am not comfortable with it. I very rarely share beds with my friends, let alone any women. So I think we are just incompatible in the long run. I will never be comfortable with her sharing beds with guys, but I also don't want to control her. So I just need advice on how to word the breakup here. Do I tell her the exact reason or just make something up? Edit update. I think I will just tell her that I am not ready for a serious relationship and end it without any fights or arguments. And a lot of you are wondering why I am reluctant to have a conversation. It has happened once before with me. I was 19, 21 now, and my then GF called me controlling when I had an issue with her sitting in the lap of her friend. I objected and they both called me controlling and insecure. So I learned my lesson: find compatible partners rather than try and have this kind of conversation. It's not controlling in the slightest to pose the statement as, "This makes me uncomfortable." She deserves to know. And if she argues with you on why it's okay, that's when you break up, but until you have that conversation she may have no idea you think it's an issue. Let me tell you a little story here. When me and my ex-GF had reached a year, she introduced me to one of her guy friends. She said he was gay. Anyways, I was always uncomfortable around him because he would hit on me and such, which was very offensive, but she said he was just being friendly. So I start to ignore these advances, and one day I come home and she's cuddling with him on the couch and they're watching a movie. I ask what the hell is going on, and she explained they're just girlfriends, or whatever, and he leaves. I explained to her how uncomfortable that guy makes me feel and such. So a month passes by and this persists to them cuddling in bed, and guess what happens next? It turns out that this gay guy is the side dude. I did not see it coming. When I went to a reunion party at my university 5 years after graduating, I decided to sleep over because the trip back home wasn't doable late at night. The easiest option was sleeping over where the party was held, which was at a male friend's home. My husband, back then my boyfriend, voiced his concerns. He wasn't comfortable with the fact that I was sleeping over at a male's house. This wasn't even in same bed. It's a boundary he is allowed to have. I fixed a sleeping place at a female's friend's house. No hard feelings. Tell her how you feel and that she is crossing a boundary of you by sleeping in bed with other people that are not you. You are allowed to have boundaries. You can't enforce them, but you can voice them. If she doesn't care about your boundary, then you can decide whether it is a deal breaker for you or not. But at least give her a chance. I mean, does she share the bed on the reg, or is it maybe after a night out with her pals and they all sleep together? I mean sleep. I slept next to my male friends. Platonic. Until my 20s, I think. 'Cause we used to camp together and we weren't going to stop just like that. Have you asked her why she does and why she doesn't find it weird at all? Ultimately, you can break up with someone for anything though. I feel like this isn't working. I don't like that you do this, but don't think it's fair for me to stop you. I'm never going to feel comfortable with you sharing a bed with your guy friend. We have different boundaries and I feel we aren't compatible. Goodbye. JFC, what the hell was the point of making this stupid post if you obviously just want to drop your GF? Like a bad habit? You keep saying you haven't voiced your feelings or concerns to her and that you won't bring it up 'cause it's controlling, when everyone has been constantly reiterating that setting a boundary and expressing your discomfort is not controlling, and you should bring it up with her to see how it plays out first. 'Cause she might just not know it was upsetting you and stop immediately. Also interested in understanding the context here. Is she camping with platonic male friends? Crashing on the same bed in a hotel at a convention? Def done this a lot of times to save money booking a weekend. Anyone else curious about the context here? Like sharing a bed with another guy while in a relationship is pretty obviously a big deal. I'm a woman and I have shared beds, platonically, with guy friends many times. However, during those times, neither of us had significant others. If my guy friend were dating someone, I wouldn't sleep in their bed. I would never sleep in the same bed as my guy friend now that I have my own boyfriend. Even though it was never anything more than a place to crash. It's just inappropriate when you're in a relationship, and that's not a boundary that should be crossed. I guarantee if you break up with her, she'll be hard-pressed to find a boyfriend who wouldn't have a problem with it. Yeah, my ex was cheating with that story. It's a new boundary for me. Friend. Having boundaries and communicating your needs and expectations is not controlling behavior. Please talk to her and give her the chance to be better. Dude. It sounds like you just want to leave. You aren't even trying to talk things out. You're basing her response off of how you think Reddit will respond, dude. For all you know, she could be like, oh my bad, and never do it again, and you get a happy ever after. But you're not even willing to mention it. If you want to just leave, then be honest, but stop trying to pin it on her if you aren't even willing to mention that it bothers you. Yeah, you're a troll. Sharing a bed with platonic friends isn't super weird, but you feeling uncomfortable with it is also perfectly acceptable. I'd tell her that while you understand there's nothing inherently wrong about sharing a bed with friends, you aren't comfortable with her sleeping right next to anyone else while in a relationship with you. From there you have two options. 1. Leave the ball in her court. I don't want to control you or make you feel like you can't be yourself. But this is a deal-breaking issue for me. If you're happy to give up sharing a bed with friends, we can try to work on our relationship and stay together. If not, totally understandable, and I'd like us to break up on good terms. 2. If you want to break up regardless. I think you're an amazing person, but this seems like a comparability issue and I don't want either of us to grow resentful of each other. If you choose to stop sharing a bed with friends. Or me if I try to look the other way with this. I'd rather we part ways romantically here, on a good note, knowing we had a good time together and leaving ourselves open to finding someone who shares the same boundaries. You can't really go wrong either way. It just depends on what you want to do. Honestly, I would discuss it with her first, not in a controlling way. As you mentioned, you want to avoid her feeling like you are controlling her, but in a way where you are setting a boundary that you aren't comfortable with that. If she persists, then she is obviously overstepping that boundary, in which case the relationship should end. Also, as someone who has quite a few guy friends, strictly platonic, I literally see them as Ken dolls. I've crashed in their beds with them on more than one occasion. Now if she's sleeping with them and there is cuddling, that may be more of a weird gray area that would need to be addressed ASAP, but if she's anything like me, blanket barrier, separate blankets, touch me and I'll snap your fingers, it's fine. It could be something as wholesome as having a sleepover with a pal. Or it couldn't, so try to figure that out. Best of luck. I mean, it sounds like you already know what you're going to do. If you need some words, it depends on if you've ever brought this up to her or not. Have you? You seem to have left out a lot of information. Does she share a bed with a male roommate full-time? Is it platonic sleepovers? How old is everyone? How long have you been together? If she doesn't know you are uncomfortable with it, how can she rectify her actions? It seems you are punishing her for something you haven't even talked to her about, which doesn't seem fair. You seem to have made up your mind about breaking up, but when you tell her the reason why, she may be upset you didn't bring it up in the first place. It's not controlling to voice your boundaries. Mate. Relationships require communication, and if you just dump someone without giving them a chance to understand and respect your boundaries, why even be in a relationship with anyone ever? You said you'll just find a girl with the same boundaries as you. But how will you know that without first communicating it? If you'll do that with the next girl, why not with this one? This just seems silly to me. Don't make something up. Tell her you have boundaries that aren't compatible with hers. As a woman myself who has guy friends, I never shared a bed with any of them because I believe it's so weird. Tell her how it makes you feel uncomfortable. You have boundaries, and if she doesn't respect them, leave.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.